Today marks 50 years since shockwaves were sent all over the world. The leader fighting for change murdered in Memphis.
Martin Luther King Jr. was killed tonight in Memphis, Tennessee.
We are bringing you live to the very place where Dr. King lost his life, where today thousands will gather to honor his legacy.
But it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop.
And right here in Atlanta, a city where he called home, Atlanta will remember Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Hashtag MLK50 already trending this morning. And we want to know, 50 years after his assassination, do you think his dream has been fulfilled? Tweet us using the hashtag MorningRushATL.
And this morning, we have live team coverage as we remember Dr. King and his life and legacy. We're going to get you started off with your forecast because it is wet outside, even if it's not raining anymore for some.
Yeah, the rain is pushed out, but the roadways are still wet, of course, so you have to be careful as you travel around, folks. We had some thunderstorms overnight, but those thunderstorms have pushed out. That's the good news. And the clouds will eventually follow that trend as well, so we'll get some sunshine for the latter half of the afternoon. Huge system, folks. This one going all the way up into Canada, as a matter of fact, with the snow, and extending all the way down here to the south. But again, the worst of it for us is over, pushing out. Again, we'll get rid of these clouds as well as we head into the afternoon. As far as your forecast goes for today, we'll give it a 6 out of a possible 11 today on the Wazometer. It's how we rate your weather on a scale from 1 to 11. 62 degrees for your afternoon high temperature. That's right, 62. So much of the day will be in the 50s. So you need a coat again today, folks. Yesterday we got up to 80. I know that spoiled you, but going back down behind that front. And staying cool as we head into the day tomorrow, even though we get the sunshine back. So it will be much cooler for the next couple of days. Sunshine will return to us on Thursday, and then more rain coming for the weekend. Plus, we have a freeze warning that takes effect tonight. We're going to talk about that and the full forecast coming up. Right now, let's get a check on the traffic with Crash Clark.
Thank you, my friend. Jerry Carnes, our very own commuter dude, has been out and about in the Thunder truck taking care of business. And there he is right there on I-85 southbound inside the perimeter. Now, as Chesley said, we're still going to get a little bit of that wet stuff out there. You know, you could see it right there on the windshield wiper, probably, or the windshield. Probably need to get that wiper going a little bit. But on 85 south, as he makes his way inside the perimeter, the good news is the roads still got a little bit of shine on them, but nothing standing or ponding or puddling out there. So perhaps a little bit of good news. Got plenty of red out here, including out towards the west. We got brand new trouble. I-20 eastbound past Lee Road by the way station. That's exit 41, a left lane block. So folks out of Douglasville, watch out. Things are starting to jam up now as you make your way in. Now, once you get by Thornton Road, you're in pretty good shape. In fact, look at that. Before you get to Six Flags, 65 miles an hour. I'd take that any day. But I don't like that. 23 minutes already from Fairburn Road to the perimeter. East Expressway not in the worst shape. In fact, there's a good look. I-20 at Moreland Avenue. Jay Bell?
He gave the people hope when racial tensions were fierce. He preached change when the nation needed it most. He called for peace when we couldn't come together. And 50 years ago, he was taken. Martin Luther King Jr. murdered in Memphis on April 4th, 1968. And today, the nation is remembering one of the greats. We have team coverage for you this morning. Our Naima Abdullahi is in the Sweet Auburn district with the events happening in our city today. Francesca Amaker following your tweets. But first, we begin with Tracy Potts, who is in Memphis, where thousands will gather to honor the legacy of Dr. King.
Good morning. We're inside the museum. They've got a new exhibit here that focuses on a more personal look at Dr. King and also some of the things that are happening today. Black Lives Matter, March for Our Lives, comparing them to what happened here in 1968.
50 years ago today, an assassin's bullet ripped through the heart of America.
Martin Luther King was shot and was killed tonight in Memphis.
The young preacher who forced the nation to confront injustice suddenly gone. His young children watching on TV.
He died in a hospital an hour later.
I remember saying, "Dad, don't go." But I remember more importantly him saying, "Don't worry, I'll be back."
Today, they join thousands to remember civil rights leaders who marched with Dr. King.
This man I admired, I loved, he was my friend.
Speakers and performers are scheduled all day at the Lorraine Motel, now part of the National Civil Rights Museum. Visitors today will hear Dr. King's last speech the night before he died.
Because I've been to the mountaintop.
A new exhibit debuts this morning focusing on Dr. King's family life and the sanitation worker strike that brought him to Memphis.
And when you walk through, it's hard to distinguish what was 68 and what was today.
The message today, the fight is not over.
We have not in 50 years dealt with, as Daddy challenged us, to deal with the last vestiges of racism.
A dream that did not die on the balcony outside room 306.
Moving forward and preserving history, we're told that room is exactly as it was the day Dr. King died. In Memphis, I'm Tracy Potts.
Tracy, thank you. Moving now to Naima Abdullahi, who is outside the King Center in Ebenezer Baptist Church with a look at what's happening around our community here in Atlanta.
And Jennifer, today is a day the world is paying close attention to Atlanta, not only because it was the epicenter of the civil rights movement, but because this is where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is from. This is where that dream all started. And today in his hometown, there are a lot of different events lined up to remember a man, a father, a husband, a civil rights icon who made a statement not only for our city, took a stand not only for our nation, but all over the world.
At 10 a.m., you can visit Dr. King's historic birth home on Auburn Avenue. That's when the tours start. And at 10:30, there will be a Martin Luther King Jr. Peace Prize Award ceremony. It's the King Center's highest award presented for commitment to nonviolence and social justice. From 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., there will be a viewing of a Dr. King film called The Last Days of King at the National Historic Park. At 5:15, there will be a program at the historic Ebenezer Baptist Church. And at 7:01, a wreath will be placed outside the historic Ebenezer Baptist Church as we remember the life and legacy of Dr. King.
And with all the different events happening in Metro Atlanta, like Crash Clark has been telling you all morning long, make sure you factor in traffic. We now go to Francesca for social reaction.
Thank you, Naima. So many of you are reaching out to us at the 11 Alive Bridge, where you have been pouring out just how much Dr. Martin Luther King's legacy has meant to you. Go ahead and look at here, right here. This is Pat. Pat tweeted us and he says, Bernice King, thank you. What your father and his fellow preachers and activists did for humanity in the face of horror and pure evil was the most courageous and also selfless actions ever. We're also getting another tweet here from Princess Megan Destroyer. She says, Bernice King, I think sometimes we get lost in who he was to the world and forget that he was also a husband and a father. So continue to let us know what exactly Dr. Martin Luther King meant to you, what his legacy meant to you, and how you're using that in your own life, using the hashtag MorningRushATL. Jennifer.
Thank you, Fran. And we do want to remind you that we are airing an 11 Alive hour-long special, Remembering the Dream. We invite you to join us tonight at 7 as we look at Dr. King's life and legacy, the day he was taken, and where we've gone as a nation and a city since his death. Again, that airs right here on 11 Alive tonight at 7 p.m. Developing right now, a man's body found in the Chattahoochee River near Donald Lee Hollowell Parkway. We're told fishermen spotted the body around 9:30 last night. Atlanta police tell us that there is no foul play suspected, but the body is badly decomposed. The identity has not yet been released. Using sympathy and hysterical crying to target victims, police now say they know who the crying robber is. That's just one of the top stories we're following for you this morning.
You know I'm only 19. You know I don't have no money.
The crying robber is still out there, and she's been identified as 19-year-old Amanda Tanks. Smyrna police say she and an armed duo are responsible for robbing a Mableton woman. Tanks pretended to need help, pleading at the front door when the duo breaks into the home. The crew is now facing charges of aggravated assault, false imprisonment, and cruelty to children. A 3-month-old baby dead. Noonan police say the parents are to blame. Elizabeth Norris and Adam Brady are charged with second-degree murder after their infant suffocated. Investigators tell us parents knew the risk of placing their son on his stomach with pillows in his crib.
That they had total disregard to that.
A former commissioner in Griffin is facing backlash for using a racial slur not once, but 3 times.
There was white trash, my family, and they was town. I live next town.
That's Larry Johnson. He served the city back in the 90s. He was speaking about a Confederate History Month proclamation. Now the only African-American member of the commission says those comments were directed at him in a malicious way.
For him to use that word, to think that it was okay, it wasn't a slip.
We're told Johnson has since apologized for using the word. 6:39 and trending this morning, President Trump signaling a dramatic escalation in his crackdown on illegal immigration. He's announced plans to order the military to guard parts of the southern border until a wall is built. Our Liza Lucas following this from the bridge. And Liza, some lawmakers are speaking out against this idea on both sides.
That's right. And we're seeing that play out on social media. The president also very vocal when it comes to protecting the border using his Twitter page, and so are his opponents. Senator Dick Durbin tweeting, "I wrote to Defense Secretary Mathis about President's suggestion to use the military's budget to pay for his border wall. He says we believe DOD has no legal authority to do that, and it will also cut funding for the troops," he says. Another one coming in this morning, and Republican representative, Francis Rooney has also expressed that he's uncomfortable with the idea of deploying troops. However, we should note that that is not totally unprecedented. In fact, presidents from both parties, including George W. Bush and Barack Obama, sent National Guard troops to secure the border. However, at this point, it's unclear whether President Trump intends to do the same or whether he means active duty troops. We'll keep you posted here at the bridge.
Liza, thank you. Mr. Chesley McNeil, the rain has come and gone. So what's coming up later for the rest of the day?
How about some cold air? Just what you wanted for spring,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. After experiencing 2 days with temperatures in the 80s, of course. Yeah. Behind this cold front that's pushing through our area, we'll see temperatures begin to drop. Now, clouds are in place. The rain is pushed out. The clouds are in place, but they'll break down as we head into the afternoon as well. Let me walk you through the day. Starting off with temperatures in the 50s this morning. So 58 degrees. The winds will start to pick up. Northwest winds about 16 miles per hour. I think they'll reach about 20 miles per hour sustained. Gusts will be a little higher than that at times. 52 degrees with mostly cloudy skies by noon. By the time we hit 4 o'clock, maybe struggling a bit to get up to 62. Again, with those winds out there, it's going to make it feel a lot cooler. The winds will die off later on tonight. We'll see the temperatures drop off again with the less winds and clear skies, going down into the low 30s in some spots for overnight lows. Got a freeze warning that's passed along to you. We'll talk about that coming up. Right now, let's get a check on traffic with Crash.
Thank you, my friend. Let's go right to the Thunder Truck now. Jerry Carnes has been out and about. Look at that. Look how smooth that ride is. It's perfect. I'm going home. Nah, I'm just kidding. It's getting crowded right there on 85 southbound, approaching Midtown. You can see a few folks on the road and a few folks to the far left going way too fast, van with ladders on top. Oh, my goodness gracious. Keep it slow, folks. The roads are still a little on the wet side. To the maps we go because we've got trouble out west. I'm talking to all my friends out on the west side. D-ville, I-20 eastbound past Lee Road by the way station, a left lane wreck, jamming you back to Highway 92, putting you at a pretty good about 30-minute ride trying to make your way in from Douglasville. A little bit of crowd right here on the downtown connector, but not the worst ride. I-20 itself starting to fill in on the East Expressway, and here comes that east side perimeter, too. Got a good look from the Sky Tracker showing some of that volume as folks start to make their way up the east wall. All right, it's 6:42. That means it's nap time. Yeah, he's out like a light. That is Izzy. That is our puppy with a purpose, and he is here. He gets here around 4:30, 5 o'clock. He's full of pep and energy, and then all of a sudden it's... But he is learning a lot, and he's growing a lot, and you can follow him, too. He's got his own Instagram page, 11 Alive Puppy.
Your father is gone on to live with God. And when you see him, he will not be able to speak with you.
Remembering the death of her father, Bernice King reflects on how she found out her father, Dr. King, was assassinated.